Let's say the galactic. Would you like to say galactic?
Hi, Harris.
Hi.
So I want to ask you, like, you've seen like right-wing movements taking place all over the world, right? Like, especially against international Jewry and Islamic this thing. So you see them as the independent movements rising out of time, or as a reaction due to like Islamofascism?
I think it's a reaction. I think these people would have always been there. The racists and bigots would have always been there. But if Islam or there was no Islam or fascism, if the Islamists were not behaving the way they behave, then they would have remained in a fringe. We have seen that considerably. It has happened in the last 10 years, since 2010. In the last 10 years, these right wing parties have become mainstream parties, or they've increased significant foothold amongst the centrists of their local communities. We've seen that over and over, multiple countries: Italy, Germany, Spain, everywhere. We've seen that, and that is likely to keep happening everywhere else as well, because liberals are failing, or the leftists are failing to draw the line that, okay, we support Muslims as their human rights, as people. There should be no discrimination, but the certain ideals that those people hold, they're not clear enough in their criticism of that, such as criticism of hijab. They should say, well, people have a right to wear hijab, but I think it's a disgusting practice. It is. Why not a man wear a hijab? I actually saw that in BBC Big Question. They said, the host asked this woman, he said, well, if it's not a sexist thing, then how come a man doesn't wear a hijab? The woman had no answer. The woman was like, she had nothing to say. Is because it is a sexist symbol. It is a way to subjugate women. But I think liberals or the leftists are not clear enough in criticizing these things like female genital mutilation, homophobia, apostrophobia, hijab, all these issues. Liberals are not clear in condemning those things. And that's why a lot of centrists are not fools. They go, you know what, screw you. I'd rather go with them.
Okay, so in India, you know that there is a term for liberals. They call them Librandus or something like that. So the thing is, from what I studied, like regarding the leftist movements, all they are located in the countries which are like democracy run countries. I mean, not in a religious fascist states. So all those liberal movements are there in democracies. So their first target, I mean, for them to become popular, they have to attack the majority. Like, even though the majority is pacifist, suppose for example, take India. Like, I am from India. So all these Librandos over here, they target BJP and RSS very, very vehemently, and they'll just run forward to criticize them first. For example, there were many incidents like Muslims attacking Hindus and this thing and that thing, and they behave apologetic towards those issues. But when it comes to Hindus attacking Muslims, they blame Hindus for everything, so that culture is creating a very, very right-wing solidified
Yeah.
monolith on the right side.
Yeah, well, I agree. And I think it's happening all over the world simultaneously. And some people accuse me of, oh, Harris is just criticizing India or Hindus now because he's trying to have a balancing act. I think, you know what? Maybe it is a good thing. Maybe they should do that too. I think it's a good practice to do that. So you're not so one-sided. That maybe find problems in other or the societies that you are accused of promoting. Find the bad in those societies as well, and then portray them, because it's important for your own sanity as well, that you don't become a part of your own echo chamber. So I think that's important, that people should do that. People should look at I have a very simple philosophy that whatever belief you have, whether that's patriotic belief or religious view or any ideological position that you have, if you hear a news that your every part of your body says I agree with it, or you like that news,
Hmm.
then you need to find counter evidence against it. You should find. I know sometimes we get lazy and we don't do enough research, but something as a content creator or as a commentator, this is something that I do very carefully. I mean, I don't just look at something that comes up and I just say, okay, I'll just speak about it. But I do look at the counter view on that, and I think this is very important that people should do that.
Okay, so coming to Hinduism, like, what are the points you don't like about it? Like,
I just don't like the dogma in anything.
okay, so I was just asking because, like, in Hinduism, for example, it's not an expansionist religion, right? So even Buddhism or Confucianism, Taoism, any pagan religion, they're not expansionist. So they are
Sure.
prone to reformation. They can be easily reformed. Even, for example, caste system, you
I don't
cannot
care
find.
about that. No, that's fine, but I don't care about that. I'm just simply saying that
Okay,
any supernatural belief that is, there's no evidence for it. Uh, it if it has a baggage of supernatural claims,
okay,
even if you're going to reform it or not, I don't care. That just there is no evidence for any supernatural claims, and any idea
hmm.
that requires that is incumbent on its supernatural claims is a thing of no interest to me. And I firmly believe that once you believe in those irrational things, you can believe yourself in anything. Casteism was a result, so it might not be directly promoted in the ancient scripture, but it was a result of that. Just like belief in Mahurat Nikla Jara, astrology, and all of these things,
Yeah,
or thinking that cow is your mother and its urine is gonna heal you. These may not be written in the original, or might not even be in the plan of the original authors or inventors of whatever philosophy they were giving. But it ended up, why? Because people allowed themselves to, or people opened themselves to believing in things that are irrational. So
but
that's
do
why I
you
mean,
think you need to give them some space? You need to cut them some slack till they recover from like Islamic thing and this thing, like
no, but
Islam.
no, but it's not an individual though. So it's not an individual thing. I mean, what do you mean by cut some slack? Well, maybe do it 20 years later or 10 years later. No, so these things happen simultaneously. So you just do it. Some people will buy it, and I don't even speak about Hindu theology as much, but I have some, as I say, I have some
Hmm.
obviously these atheistic arguments that are quite universal. So a lot of Hindus send me messages too. They say, I used to be a bhakt, but I don't believe in that crap anymore.
Okay.
So it's because it's not about Hinduism or Islam per se. It's about those universal arguments against supernatural claims. If you believe that Bhagwan, the Upparwala, the guy
Yes.
upstairs, if you believe in that thing,
Hmm.
all the atheistic arguments or the counter
Hmm.
arguments, they fit perfectly well on all of these gods. Whether you
So,
call him
so when
Ram
you
or
when you were a Muslim, like when you were a Muslim, so was Muslim an ingrained part of your identity? Like, did you ever think like, who were my ancestors 1,400 years ago, like before Islam? Did that thought come into your mind? Like, and what was your reaction to that?
No, not really. I think I was. My mother's side always said that we used to be Hindus, but my father's side said that they came from Arab. So I don't think I ever cared about it as such. I mean, even then, it didn't really bother me. We didn't have, for some reason, but we did have the superiority complex. We're Muslims. We're better. We're clean. We did have that superiority complex.
Okay. So coming to Ali Dawah thing, you talked about like Hitler and Jews and what Hitler did about Jews. So if you speak from third angle point, like if you speak as a third person, like we see them as two factions, like Nazis and Jews. Do you agree what Jews did in Weimar Republic to German culture and German people, like which ultimately irked Hitler to form his ideology? Like, do you blame them at all? Like,
No, no, Hitler. If you look at Hitler was. Some historians say Hitler was actually pissed off because he couldn't get in that art school in Vienna because the principal or the headmaster or whoever the head was, he was a Jew, and they didn't let him in that art school because they said that he couldn't draw well. Um, so some people say that was one of the reasons, but then some people counter it by saying that the doctor who looked after his mother, who treated his mother, who died of cancer, he was a Jew as well. And the doctor later said that he was very kind to Hitler. Hitler was very polite to him. So Then again, he blamed the monetary, the financial system was being held hostage. A lot of people, I think, argue that they say that when the First World War happened, and he blamed the Jews for the loss. And there's a very famous exchange that he had with his fellow Germans, where he said to his fellow Germans, German soldiers, he said, when he heard the news that Germany had surrendered, he said that, oh, it's the Jews. That's why we have lost the war. And he was mouthing off Jews. And one of the soldiers said to him, "Aren't you a Jew?" Because they thought Hitler himself was a Jew. But who knows? I mean, that's the reason why we say that you should never allow your mind to go in that totalitarian kind of thought process that they are like that or they do that, because this is why individualism is very important. This is why when I hear these people like CC and all these guys, when they say, well, Ahmadis supported the creation of Pakistan. So now they can suffer in Pakistan. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. So you're collectively punishing people. How does that make sense? So that's why you should never go in that they argument. Treat people as individuals.
I think they also need to be criticized just as much as Nazis, because or else it will be like
not as much.
I've read so many Jewish people who have written pamphlets in Russia asking for molestation, forced rape of European women. I can show you pamphlets.
But again, there would be, but you cannot treat people collectively. That's the whole point.
Okay, let me ask you a simple question. If USA and Israel go to war, which side would the Jews of USA support?
You know how many? There's a strong anti-Israel movement in American Jews. Do you know that? There are actually a lot. Yes, there are a lot of celebrity Jews who are actually against the statehood of Israel.
But people like Seth Rogen against America.
There are people like Seth Rogen and all that. There is a very strong growing movement. I think it's called Jews for Palestine or something. Look it up. So no, it's not. But again, and that shows that people become individuals, it's bound to happen that they're going to come out of this tribalistic nature. So when you say, well, you found so many Jews were saying this and that, yeah, there would be. It's like same thing. This is the reason you should get out of that thought process. That when you say, that those Muslims killed Rinku Sharma, those Muslims, that kind of language does nothing but it raises hatred. And this is what Muslims have done for so long. A lot of Muslims have done that, or collectively, Muslim governments have done that about, or the ideology of Islam is quite clear about
how many
about they kafir, they infidels, they are like that, they are like that. So
that's true. But how many Rinku Sharmas need to die before Muslims realize the true value of humanity?
But treat them as individuals. Treat them as individuals. Those people who have done, hang them. Or if you have a death
how can you treat them as individuals when they think as a group? That's the problem.
Again, but that person is thinking as a group. Not everyone is thinking as a group. Shah Rukh Khan thinks like that. Salman Khan thinks like that.
No.
So when you say they or Muslims, you put those people in that category as well.
Okay.
So you can never do that. Again, I can say the same thing. That would you how many Muslims have to be lynched for eating beef, or by Hindus before Hindus realize that cow is not a mother? You would be like, actually, if anyone would say, well, not all Hindus think that way, and that's kind of true. A lot of Hindus. India is the largest beef exporter, by the way. Or there's so many states where Hindus eat beef as well. My friend eat beef. So you would be saying that because you know what you would be doing. You would be demanding individualism. You would be saying, treat us like individuals. Don't paint us with the same brush. So you're doing the same thing with Muslim when you talk about they. Pull that word out of your vocabulary. Don't do that. It's never good. Anyway, that's my thought on that.
Okay, that's all, Harris. Nice talking to you.
Thank you. To help me produce more videos like these, support me on Patreon or PayPal.